Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, welcome back to Sir Enzo Reviews. Today we're reviewing Axiom Verge? Axiom Verge? I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what the title of the game is. It's Axiom Verge. That's what I'm going to call it. That's what I'm sticking with. It could be Axiom Verge. I've heard it pronounced both ways. I don't really know exactly how to pronounce it, but it's not important. What's important is that you know what the game is. You know how to, you know what kind of game it is, and you know what you're in for if you looking into buying it. So, what is Axiom Verge? What the hell are you looking at right now? Well, this is a Metroidvania style game. So, I'm going to explain what that is because there's a couple people I talked to that had no idea what the hell I was talking about when I was trying to explain it to them. A Metroidvania style game is a 2D puzzle platform action type game. Yeah, it's a mouthful. Basically, what that means is there's elements of platforming. There's elements of action, as you see here, and there's elements of puzzle solving. There's also elements of backtracking. Now the Metroidvania term was created because when Castlevania and Metroid, which are the two games that it's combined into to make, when they really came out, there really had never been games like those two games before. And so that's kind of where the term comes from. But enough about that. Enough about what type of game it is. It's really just a fun indie game. It's very, very Metroid inspired, specifically on the Metroidvania front. It's very Metroid inspired. There's a lot of similarities to it, including the egg-shaped save pods that are in the game that also heal you when you use them. There's a plethora of guns, but unlike Metroid, which this game is very similar to, the guns don't have properties to them. Basically, if you find a gun, you find a weapon, you can use it. You don't have to use certain guns to open up certain areas, although you do have to use certain gear to open up certain areas and certain abilities and stuff. But most of the stuff that you need to progress into the game is mostly just kind of shown to you, given to you after boss fights. I know a lot of the important ones are given to you after boss fights. There are some that you have to backtrack and go and get after certain boss fights to progress to the next area, which kind of, is part of how the game is played also. There are certain areas you're not going to be able to get into because you don't have certain weapons or certain gear, certain armor, things of that nature, and you have to go back there later on in the game when you do have those items, and then they unlock, power upgrades, health upgrades, weapon upgrades, all those type of things. And it really helps you, kind of immerse you in this experience. And you kind of feel powerful going back into the game, right? You feel powerful backtracking because these enemies that were kicking your ass now really don't stand a chance against you. You have all these upgrades, all these health benefits, all of these new weapons, and you're just out there whipping ass. And that's part of the fun of the game, if I do say so myself. Now right here, what you're watching is one of the boss fights. I'm not going to spoil it too much for you. Although, I guess, showing you the boss fight's kind of spoiling the boss fight in and of itself for you when you get there. But now, as you can tell, the game is 2D. It's very pixelated. I think it's like 16-bit. I don't think it's 8-bit. It might be 8-bit, but I'm pretty sure it's 16-bit. I could be wrong about that. The visuals are bare bones. The creator of the game, Tom Happ, really went out of his way to make the game feel like Super Metroid for SNES as much as he possibly could. Really, really tried to do it. And that included the visuals. That included going back to a 2D sprite-based, picture, which isn't bad. Some people aren't going to like that. Some people are not going to be fans of that, and that's fine. That's your prerogative if you don't like the visuals, but I don't think it hurts the game. In fact, I think it helps immerse you in it. It really helps it feel like it's a Metroidvania style of game, which is really what it is at its heart. And I think that they do well. The color palettes in the game are really good. They're fantastic. As you explore the game, as you delve further into the game, the areas change significantly. The environments are different. It's hard to immerse yourself these days into a 2D pixelated game, but if there's a game that does that, it's most certainly Axiom Verge, and really kind of the environments really kind of make you feel like you're in some weird space on some weird planet. And I don't even know if that's necessarily what it is. I'm on the final boss. I haven't beaten the game yet. But without spoiling anything, you're not really on another planet. You're kind of in some weird, I want to say computer program, but I don't even know if that's necessarily accurate. the point is, it makes you feel like you're in some special weird place in some special weird area. And to add to the weirdness, the enemies are certainly very different. I don't know, can't remember Metroid so far back, but I know that the enemies in this game are very unique and very different and act on their own accord very differently than other game enemies would, even to the Metroid franchise, which is what this game is very heavily based upon. The sound, oh boy, the soundtrack is actually really good. I think that the sound effects, very different than the soundtrack. I think those could have used some work. Some of them are kind of annoying, like the drill. The drill kind of gets obnoxious at times. The Kilver sounds fantastic. The Kilver is this green lightning bolt thing. It kind of, the best way I would describe it is like a shotgun, right? Super up close, super personal, but super powerful. It's not going to hit somebody across the map, but if you're up close, you're going to kill them in like 2 or 3 hits. It's very powerful. The sound effects for certain guns, certain, enemies are very cool. And then the other times, they're just not. The music, like I said, is great. The music's pretty fantastic. The music really helps you immerse you in this very sci-fi type experience that the game is trying to provide for you. And I think that that's great. Now, as far as features are concerned in the game, it's really pretty bare bones for the most part. But it does provide some replayability for the game long term, especially if you're a big fan of it. The creator of the game, Tom Happ, is fully embracing speedruns. There's literally a speedrun mode, a speedrun option from the main menu, which allows you to start up speedrun mode. What does speedrun mode do? Well, it allows you to simply take all of the cutscenes, all of the dialogue out of the game. So you could just go from point A to point B as quickly as humanly possible to get where you need to go to. This is super cool. People who speedrun the game, people who really like the game that much and really want to go for world records and things of that nature are going to love this feature. It's super cool. I really like it. I don't speedrun. I don't care for speedruns. I'm probably not going to play speedrun mode. I don't know. Maybe I will. Depends on how I like the game. I mean, that being said, I do like the game. I'm just saying I don't know if I like it to the point where I'm going to be playing it constantly, trying to get a world record or increase my speed run or, things of that nature. But I think it's a cool option. I think people are really going to like it. People are really going to grab onto it and try to do all those cool, fun speed runs on Twitch and things like that. So I think that was cool that he embraced that, kind of helped people out. There's a trophy for it for all you trophy addicts out there. That's going to be pretty cool for you, I guess, if you want to just do that really quickly. So, there's also a New Game Plus mode. New Game Plus mode, you keep all your stuff, the enemies are super hard going forward. I think you keep most of your weapons. I don't know if you keep all the gear. I think the gear and stuff that you need to progress to certain points of the game is removed so that you still have to fight the bosses in succession and things like that. I haven't tried New Game Plus mode myself. Like I said, I'm at the very end of my first playthrough. I haven't completely beat it yet. But New Game Plus adds a ton of replayability with the speedrun mode. Obviously, it's a single-player game. It's a single-player campaign, so Tom Happ really did a lot to try to get as much replayability out of this game as humanly possible. So last but most certainly not least is, should you buy Axiom Verge and should you play it? Absolutely. I think you should. I think you'll love it. I would recommend it to anybody who loves Metroid, anybody who loves Castlevania, anybody who loves Metroidvania type of games. I would recommend this game to. I think it's phenomenal. I think you're going to love it, and I think Tom Happ did a great job of it. If you don't like backtracking, and if you don't like solving puzzles and going back to figure out what you did wrong, maybe this game might not be for you, but I would recommend it to everybody. I think it's a phenomenal game. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it helped you decide whether or not you want to purchase Axiom Verge and play it for yourself. Like the video, share the video with your friends if you know anybody else looking to get Axiom Verge. Comment on any questions you have, I'll answer them as soon as I possibly can. And subscribe to the channel for more video game content. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. My name has been Enzo. You are YouTube, and as always, stay classy, Internet.